Before we get very far into our next story, we do have a warning for you tonight. What you're about to see and hear may not be suitable for children. Tonight, take a walk in their world.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Transpicuous News. It's February 24th. And I don't know if you saw, I don't know, something happened this week that was so exciting, so electrifying, so unbelievably amazing. I had to do a report on it. So a few days ago, all the mainstream media went wild with the news that NASA was going to hold a major press conference because they have an announcement to make. A major announcement that has to do with things outside our solar system. Well, you know me. I got so excited. I couldn't sleep. I could barely eat. As we got to the time when this major live stream, internationally televised press conference was going to be held, I was almost hyperventilating. I thought I'd have to get a paper bag. And when the guy got up to the podium and he started talking, I literally got so choked up. I was beside myself. I was so excited. I didn't know what to do. So, as you know, NASA's discovered a new solar system with 7 planets, only 40,000 light years away. See, I'm still also choked up about it. What are we going to do? This is so exciting. So exciting. And in other news, NASA decided to revive weird life forms trapped inside crystals for 60,000 years in the hopes of finding alien organisms in space. Apparently, ginormous crystals down in Mexico, and they went off looking for them, and they found all kinds of interesting stuff. Some of these life forms, up to 60,000 years old, and I thought it was rather interesting. They said around 100 different bugs, which were mostly bacteria, were found inside crystals where they'd been trapped between 10 and 60,000 years. 90% had never been seen before, which is, of course, why NASA revived them. The cave system sits on top of a large pocket of volcanic magma and is geothermally heated to a temperature of up to 60 degrees Celsius. For those who are in Fahrenheit world, that's fucking hot. Which has led to the astrobiologists, what the fuck is an astrobiologist anyways, dubbing it hell. Now, what I kind of got a giggle was one of these little lines down here at the very bottom. Hold on, here we go. Scientists said discoveries such as this raise the possibility that dangerous bugs could hitch a ride back to Earth when spacecraft return from other planets. Wait a second. I thought space was supposed to be cold, like real cold, like absolute zero cold. Now it's 60 degrees Celsius? I don't know. It's so confusing. Apparently it is the season for holidays. And Newt Gingrich decided to go to Antarctica, do a little kayaking. Because apparently, it's the in thing to do these days. Let's see. And Mark Zuckerberg is totally announced this week his plans to build a global community to support that new world order, somehow using Facebook. I'm not really sure how it's supposed to work. There was a lot of words and a whole lot of talk, and none of it really made a lot of sense. But, you know, it is what it is. So, yeah, New World Order, Mark Zuckerberg. Who'd have thunk? Now, in some really, really not so pleasant news, Google's doing it, apparently. So it would seem Google has blacklisted natural news. has removed 140,000 pages from the index. And I actually went out this morning, first thing when I read this, went and Googled natural news and tried to Mike Adams, et cetera, et cetera. Nothing with the proper naturalnews.com comes up anymore in Google. Apparently Alex Jones's site too. I don't care about that. So I don't know, people. Maybe it's time for everyone to start writing Google some messages and saying, I don't fucking think so. But we'll move on. Interestingly enough, they've just announced that there's been some radiation spikes across Europe happened over the last month. Kind of interesting the way this one plays out, because of course it wasn't announced during the time. It's always afterwards that they come up with these little announcements, right? France's IRSN Institute, the public body for radiology, nuclear, blah, 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 issued a statement February 13th that iodine-131, which is a human origin, it's a man-made nucleotide, radionucleotide. It's man-made, it's real bad. We'll just go there. Was detected in trace amounts of the ground level atmosphere in continental Europe. First detected in the second week of January over northern Norway, iodine-131 presence was then detected over Finland, Poland, Germany, Czech Republic, France, and Spain. The levels have since returned to normal, and scientists have yet to determine the source of the radiation. They don't know what caused it. So we have no idea what caused it, which of course means that immediately you got to blame Russia, which they did, quite a few people. So, you know, blame Russia. They must have started nuclear tests or something again. Giggle of an article for you. Russian insider, Washington wants a coalition of Sunni regimes to fight Iran. Washington is working to create a military alliance of Sunni Arab nations to counter Iran. Now, beyond the fact that the entire idea is so freaking ludicrous, as I agree with this guy, laugh out loud funny. You should read the article if you're into it. The sarcasm drips so heavily on the floor, you can probably hear it from here. It's well worth the giggle to give it a read. And just in case we're confused about these Sunni allies, these would be the same Sunni, led by the Saudis, who would be in the Saudi coalition forces who are currently fighting with AlQaeda against the Houthis in West Yemen. That's right. So the Saudi coalition forces, which are fully supported by the US, are working with AlQaeda against the Houthis in Yemen. I tell you, I know I say it all the time, but you just can't make this shit up. It's just, you can't believe they said this shit. Now, one of the big things that come out today, and this we're going to talk about for a second, is of course, apparently a group of 300 scientists have come forward to the White House telling Trump to exit the UN Climate Pact, get rid of the Paris Accords and all of this. Now, there's some interesting stuff I want to discuss in here. I'm going to read you a couple of the quotes, though. So 300 scientists led by well-known climate researcher Richard Lindzen of Massachusetts Institute of Technology sent a letter to the White House with a petition urging the U.S. to exit from the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change. The framework was established in 1992. This is an important date to remember because at the same time they established this climate change framework was the exact same time that Agenda 21 was announced. Just saying. Established in 1992 as a compact among 150 nations to begin to address man-made global warming, which many scientists say is caused by higher levels of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere from burning fossil fuels, which is a crock of shit. Pure and simple, it is a crock of shit. So this needs to be taken, looked at it on multiple levels. And of course, we don't have answers. I only ever ask the questions, right? The moment that Donald Trump took power in the White House, they wiped out everything on the White House website to do with climate change, just instantaneously gone. And there's a lot of us who cheered that. For me, it's a big step. This is a big step. Someone who's going to debunk this whole man-made climate change bullshit. But it's not that simple. It's not that simple. One of the big things to look at this is the burning of fossil fuels. Now, the letter asserts that carbon dioxide, considered by many scientists to be the primary cause of climate change, is not a pollutant at all. Well, it is a pollutant, i.e., the carbon dioxide let out by fossil fuels is a pollutant, i.e., car exhaust, and all these other things. It actually is a pollutant, which we'll get back to. But it is a necessary ingredient for nourishing life on Earth. True. CO2 is what keeps the planet going. It is. They're absolutely right. This is, it's environmentally helpful to food crops and other plants that nourish life. It's plant food, not poison. Yeah, it is. Plants need carbon dioxide. Not even a question. Anyone with fucking grade 9 biology can tell you that. My problem with this is, every time these kind of changes come about, we need to analyze the words. We need to analyze where the focus goes. So in this, they're talking about getting rid of all this, man-made climate change, all these accords, the Paris Accords, all these signed treaties that were done. U.S. is going to walk away from them all, but they keep bringing up the word fossil fuels. Now, unfortunately, truth is, Donald Trump is heavily tied to the oil industry. Donald Trump has also made statements in the past about the coal industry. These are environmental problems. Not because of fucking CO2 man-made climate change bullshit, but because they are pollutants. They're dangerous, they're harmful to human health and animal and wildlife and plant life health. They're dangerous to the ecology of the planet, not even a question. So, when we look at this, there's the two angles to look at this from. Is Donald Trump getting rid of all this climate change in order to reinvigorate the fossil fuel industry in the US? To reinvigorate the coal industry, which is, of course, over the last, decade, taken a massive hit. And there's a lot of small towns in the US that are seriously hurting because of the coal industry being shut down. Economy, ecology. Can we really support this at the detriment of this? These are my concerns. If this is a movement to move forward away from the entire man-made climate change rhetoric, and it is exactly as it seems on the surface, I am all for it. Because God knows I've been screaming my head off for fucking years. CO2, climate change is all fucking bullshit. Hell, Mount Etna spewed off last summer more CO2 into the atmosphere in one day than all of North America did in a year. So let's not talk about man-made climate change, which is also happening on Mars, Neptune, a few other planets in the solar system, where apparently they don't have cars. Just saying. So this is something we need to follow. This is what I talk about being objective and being the observer. Don't get tied up in the political bullshit of left and right, and the lefts are saying this and the rights are saying this and the Dems and the Republicans, and who fucking cares? Be the observer. Don't fall for this until we know what actually is on the table. Nothing is ever what it seems. So it's going to be interesting to see just how this plays out. Because, there could be a lot more here than what we can see. A lot more than what meets the eye. Yes, yes, yes. And that's it for Transpicuous News, guys. Now, it's a Friday night. Tomorrow is Carnival here. I won't be around much. I'm still manically making costumes because all my kids decided to change their minds on what they wanted to be for Carnival. 'Tis the lot of a mother. Anyways, I will be back soon. You guys have a really good weekend. Bye.